Welcome back to another video on the Maths channel. It's your teacher, Mr. Lim, and in this video we are going to be looking at units of area and area of rectangles. So by the end of this lesson you'll be able to do these three things: explain what area is, convert units of area, and calculate the area of rectangles and squares. So let's first look at the definition of area. What I would like you to do right now is pause the video and open up the Math Antics video in the description and watch until about 4 minutes and 48 seconds and then just stop there. And then I'll get you to come back to this video and continue playing it. Okay, so you should have finished watching the Math Antics video. So now let's have a look at the definition of area. Area is the total amount of space inside a 2D shape. Okay, so inside. In our last video we looked at perimeter, which was the total distance around the outside. Area is the total amount of space inside a 2D shape. It is measured in square units, such as square kilometers, square meters, square centimeters, and square millimeters. Now we actually pronounce this as square kilometers. I know it's written as kilometers squared, but that's because we might get confused. So let's say we've got 5 square kilometers. Okay, what that means is we've got an area that's 1 kilometer by 5 kilometers. So the area is 5 square kilometers. Okay, not 5 squared kilometers. 5 squared kilometers looks like this, which is just 25 kilometers. That's just a distance, a length. It's not an area. So I know we pronounce it weird. We're so used to saying kilometers squared or meters squared, centimeters squared or millimeters squared, but they are square units, so it's square kilometers, square meters, square centimeters, square millimeters. Don't get confused when you're writing your answers. The metric units of area include these. So here we've got 1 square millimeter, which is 1 millimeter by 1 millimeter, 1 square centimeter, which is 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter. And here it says there are 100 millimeters squared, or square millimeters, in 1 square centimeter. Alright, 1 square meter is 1 meter by 1 meter. And there are 10,000 square centimeters in 1 square meter. One hectare, or 1 HA, is 100 meters by 100 meters. Okay, so we use this because a lot of land sometimes is measured in hectares. And 1 square kilometer. And there are 1 million square meters in a square kilometer. Okay, so now that we've looked at that, let's have a look at how to convert units of area. Now, we should all be familiar with this because when we looked at how to convert units of length, this was exactly the same thing, right? However, whenever we convert units of area, we just need to add one thing to each of these little notes. First of all, this is a distance, not an area. So to make it an area, we're just going to put the squared for all of them. However, we don't just do that. We need to square every single thing. Now we've got the conversion chart for area. Okay, so I want to convert square kilometers into square meters. From square kilometers into square meters, I'm following that arrow. I need to multiply the number by 1000 squared. Okay, that's pretty much it. So you might say, but sir, why do we multiply by 10 squared when converting square centimeters into square millimeters? Well, let me show you. If I were to have a square that is 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter, the area is 1 square centimeters, 1 times 1. But 1 centimeter is the same as 10 millimeters, isn't it? Because technically there are 10 millimeters in 1 centimeter. So if I were to replace both of them by 10 millimeters, the area of this is now 10 times 10, which is 100 square millimeters. Or if you think about it, right, we're timesing it by 10 squared, which is the same as 100 square millimeters. But sir, why do we multiply by 100 squared when we convert square meters into square centimeters? Well, again, if we were to have a square that is 1 meter by 1 meter, the area is 1 square meter. Okay, 1 times 1 is 1. But how many centimeters are there in a meter? 100. So if I were to replace each of these with just 100 centimeters, which is the same thing as 1 meter, the area is now 100 times 100, which is 100 squared, but it's centimeters, square centimeters. And 100 squared is 10,000. Okay, and that's why we multiply by 100 squared. For this one, we multiply by 10 squared. And same with converting square meters into square kilometers. Okay? Sorry, square kilometers into square meters. Then we multiply by 1,000 squared. Alright, so let's have a look at a few examples. We want to convert 0.00628 square kilometers into square meters. In order for us to do this, let's have a look at our conversion chart. Square kilometers into square meters. Square kilometers into square meters, so follow the arrow. We need to multiply the number by 1000 squared. So, if we take our number and multiply it by 1000 squared, we're moving the decimal point to the right. How many times? Well, there are 3 zeros here, so it looks like it's 3 times, but it's 3 times 2, which is 6. So write 6 times. So if we move it to the right 6 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's an empty spot here for a 0. So our final answer is 6280. We can write 0.0, but there's no real need to do that. And that's square meters. Now remember, we don't need to write all these zeros here. 0, 0, 0, there's no need to do that. We never write numbers like that. Okay, I'm going to do one more example with you, and I want you to try C by yourselves. So, question B, we've got 70,895 square millimeters, and we want to convert that into square meters. So, let's go back to our conversion chart. We want to convert square millimeters into square meters. So we need to follow these arrows, which means we need to take the number divided by 10 squared and divided by 100 squared. Our number is 70,895. We need to divide it by 10 squared to convert it into square centimeters. And then we need to convert that into square meters by dividing by 100 squared, which means that we are going to move our decimal point to the left. 1 times 2 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. So technically we've got 2 plus 4. We're going to move it to the left 6 times. Where's that decimal point? It's right here at the very end. Okay, because it doesn't say it's a whole number, so the decimal point is right there. So we're going to move it to the left 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And in this empty spot, we put a 0. So that means our final answer is 0.070895 square meters. Okay, pause the video, have a go with question C yourselves. I want you to convert this number in square kilometers into square millimeters. Okay, so now that you've done that, we are going to take this number. Because we are going from square kilometers to square millimeters, we need to multiply. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 zeros. And we are going to multiply that by 1000 squared, by 100 squared, and by 10 squared. Which means we're moving the decimal point to the right. Okay, they're all going to the right. 3 times 2 is 6. 2 times 2 is 4. 1 times 2 is 2. 6 plus 4 plus 2 is 12. So moving it to the right 12 times. Okay. Well, we know there's 8 zeros, so that's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So our answer is 1832.5 square millimeters. Alright, so now that we know how to convert different units of area, let's have a look at how to find the area of rectangles and squares. This is the last part of our video. So the formula to calculate the area of a rectangle, which we found out from the mathematics video, is area is equal to L times W, which is length times width. Often we don't need to write that time symbol, so you might just see it as LW, but today I'm just going to leave it as L times W. Okay, so let's have a look at a few examples. Here we've got a rectangle. The length is 10, the width is 4. So if the area is length times width, and the length is 10, and the width is 4, then the area is 10 times 4, which is 40. But we need our units, and because this is millimeters and this is millimeters, we have square millimeters. Okay, do not write 40 square millimeters. That is incorrect. 40 squared is 1600, and that's a length. That's not an area. Okay, because it's not millimeters. It's not square millimeters, it's just millimeters. Okay. The formula to calculate the area of square is A is equal to S squared. I mean, you can use length times width as well, but sometimes we just like to use the side squared. Side squared. Or side times side. Okay, same thing. So here we have an example. We have area is the side squared. In this case, the side length is 2.5, so 2.5 squared, which is the same as 2.5 times 2.5. I haven't taught you how to do this by hand yet, but in case you do know, I'm just going to do it here. I'm going to ignore the decimal point. I'm going to multiply like normal. 5 times 5, 25. 2 times 5, 10 plus 2 is 12. Put our 0. 5 times 2 is 10. Carry the 1. 2 times 2 is 4. Plus 1 is 5. And then we add them. 625. However, there are 2 numbers to the right of the decimal point in the question. So our answer will have two numbers to the right of the decimal point. 1, 2, right there. 6.25 square centimeters. Okay. Let's have a look at some extension questions. I'm going to do one with you and then I'll get you to have a go by yourselves for the rest of the questions. So the area of a rectangle is 24 square meters. What is its length if its width is 3 meters? Now, if you want to, you can draw this out. Okay, you don't have to. Here's our rectangle. We know that the width is 3 meters. We don't know what the length is. We'll call this L for length. But we know that the area is equal to 24 square meters. So 3 times what number equals to 24? The length has to equal to 8 meters. Now another way of doing this is, well, we know the formula is A is equal to L times W. Because the area is 24, we don't know what the length is, we need to work that out. But we need to times it by 3, because the width is 3. What number times 3 is equal to 24? 8. So we say that the length is 8. But it's not just 8, it's 8 meters. Because this is meters, and the area is square meters. Okay. Have a go with question B, C, and D. I'll get you to pause the video, and when you're ready to go through the answers, you can continue playing the video. Okay, so question B. Question B, if we have a square, the area is 49 square meters. What is its side length? So we know that all sides are the same length. Actually, we'll call it S for side. Well, some number times itself is equal to 49. So the side length has to equal to 7 meters. Because this is square meters, so our length, the length of the side is just 7 meters. Do not write 7 square meters. Right? It's a length, it's not an area. Another way to do this is we know that the formula is equal to A is equal to S squared. Because we know the area is 49, well, what number times itself is equal to 49? 7. So it's 7 meters. Okay, question C. The length of a rectangle is 15 millimeters and its width is 7 millimeters. What is its area in square centimeters? Okay, so in order to work this one out, maybe it's best to draw it. So we've got a length of 15, width of 7. Can you see how they are both the same units? That's exactly what we want. So because the area of a rectangle is length times width, the length is 15, the width is 7. 15 times 7 is 105. So it's 105 square millimeters. However, the question wants us to work out the area in square centimeters. So now that we know how to convert different units of area, let's convert this 105 square millimeters into square centimeters. In order to do that, we need to divide. So 105 square millimeters into centimeters, we need to divide it by 10 squared. Okay, so we're going to take our 105 and divide it by 10 squared. Which means we're going to move the decimal to the left. How many times? Twice. 1 times 2 is 2. Left 2 times. The decimal is here because it's a whole number. So we move it to left twice. 1, 2. So our answer is 1.05 square centimeters. Okay, question D. The length of a rectangle is 2,000 millimeters, and its width is 80 centimeters. What is its area in square meters? So here we've got our rectangle. Its length is 2,000 millimeters. Its width is 80 centimeters. We want the area in square meters. So maybe the best thing to do here is to convert both of these into meters. So then when we have something meters times something meters, it'll give us our answer in square meters. So 2,000 millimeters. If we want to convert that into meters, we need to divide it by 10 and then by 100. Remember that this is a length. It is a distance. It's not an area. So we do not divide it by 10 squared or 100 squared. Okay, we just divide by 10 and 100. That will convert it into a meter, which means we're moving the decimal to the left 3 times. Decimal is here. Left 3 times, 1, 2, 3. So that's 2 meters. So what we can do is we can just replace this with 2 meters. This 80 centimeters. If we want to convert that into meters, all we need to do is divide it by 100. Okay, there are 100 centimeters in a meter, which means we're moving it to the left twice, 2 zeros, 1, 2. So that's 0.8 meters. Now that we've done that, we can multiply 2 and 0.8 to work out the area of this rectangle. So area is length times width, which is 2 times 0.8, which is 1.6 square meters. Okay, and that's the answer to this question. Okay, so for homework, I want you to work on a maths-based task. So that means that you need to log into maths-based using the account login details that I've emailed to you. And I want you to work on the task that is titled Areas of Squares and Rectangles, and that's due next Monday. Okay, and that's it for this video.